This episode brought to you by coffee. Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm in a 2022 Subaru WRX. This is all new this year, brand new. Completely changed everything. This car hasn't been updated since 2014 in terms of generational updates. So this is the next generation of the WRX, and I assume eventually the STI stablemate. So wonderful car. I have a lot of fun in this. I really like this car. But we're focusing on the interior, and there's a fair amount of stuff to cover. So let's get to it. All right, starting over here, you can see the door handle there, and then you can see this, I think it's faux carbon fiber, I'm pretty sure it's not real. And then down here you have your buttons and stuff for side mirrors, adjustment for door locks down there. And then here are your windows, and then the window lock right there. And then the first of the vents right here, you can see you turn this to block and unblock it basically, and then you can move it up and down. And then down here you can see here, this opens the trunk. This is the dimmers, and this is the traction control. The rest of these are empty. There are some options that aren't on this particular one, I believe, that will fill those in, at least partially. And then down there you can see, look at that, there's 3 pedals. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Let's look at the steering wheel. So here's the full picture. Over here on the left, this is mostly infotainment controls. So you're seeing track selection here, volume right there, your source, so like media, Bluetooth, radio, etc. And then voice activation right here. Voice activation in this is a little better than it has been in the past, but it's still kind of clunky. But, you know, it's better than not having it. And then down here are your telematics, the telephone controls. Telematics is such a cool word, even though it doesn't apply to this. It's such a cool word. Pick up the phone here, hang it up here. If you use this and there's no phone connected, it'll ask if you want to connect one, just FYI. And then down here, these information controls actually control the driver information screen, which is right in the middle up there. So you can page through different menus and stuff. I'll show you more of those when we look at the gauge cluster. Over here is cruise control stuff. You turn it on and off here, and you set and resume here, and you cancel it here. Adaptive cruise is an option in some models of this. It is not on this particular one, mostly because it is a manual transmission. But they do have the eyesight system, which is what Subaru calls it. They do have the eyesight system with all of its safety and everything else as an option on this vehicle in some trim levels. Now, going up here, we can see this dongle. There we go. This is washer wipers, up and down as usual, and then you can see what they do there, and then this controls how aggressive they are or how much they run. Pull it towards you to squirt. Over here is the signal turn dongle. So you you signal and then turn. Got it? So yeah, there are a lot of people that need to learn that. And then this is the lighting controls. You can see it pretty simply there. You just twist this. And then these are fog lamps. So you can see how they work. And then back and forth for your brights. Now up here, first I'll point out that little tiny button over there in the corner. That's the trip reset button. Now up here, looking at the instrument cluster. It is still a physical cluster. It is not virtual. So there is a little bit of glare, but not very often at all. I'm in the winter time here in Wyoming right now, which is the worst case scenario for any glass in a vehicle. And it does really well, so I have no complaints. Over here you got the tachometer. Over here you got speedometer. In the middle of that speedometer you got Canuck miles per hour. And then you can see you got some extra gauges. So over here, here's your engine heat or water heat for the engine. And then over here is your fuel, and then you can see it fills on the right. And then this is the driver information screen. This is pretty much permanent, doesn't change. And this down here is pretty much permanent and doesn't change. This has things like, you can see the odometer and a couple of other things. Tells you the road conditions outside. It's very cold right now. It's February in Wyoming, so it's telling me there could be icy roads and so on. Now, when I use those buttons that were on the bottom left of the steering wheel, as I showed you, I can flip through some of the menus up here. So this is a cool one. It's sort of an MPG chart. And then there's just a couple of other ones. I'll just flip through some of them and you can see what they are. And there you go. So there's an idea of what those are. Now, moving along, over here you have a push button start. You do have to have the clutch pushed in on the manual transmission here, but that's how that works. And the big new infotainment screen. Hi, other camera. I'd use that because, well, for whatever reason, my GoPro keeps shutting off, and I need to go fiddle with it and figure out why. I think maybe the battery's gone bad. But anyway, so you can see here, this screen, these are the vents on the sides, and then you can see this huge screen. We've seen this before in the Legacy and also now the Outback. So it's just proliferating through the Subaru lineup. It's a great screen. It does create a lot of glare on camera, but on your eyesight, the glare is not nearly so bad. And I don't know how to change it for the camera here. But hard buttons down here generally stay here. These don't change or go away. This is the main portion of the screen you're going to be working with. Most of the time, you'll be looking at screens like this. You can go to the home screen like that. There's a bunch of apps and stuff, and you can flip through and see what they do. For the most part, once you have the settings dialed in, you're probably never going to use that. My Subaru is sort of like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay for with the Subaru app. Then you can see you got a map and radio and media and a few other things. These apps are apps that you can add. So you can see this one got added. There's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay up there, and Starlink if you have it activated as well. So you can see all of that. Down here, this is how you run the bun warmers on, whoops. You can see you run it on either side. And then when you push one, like push the whole thing, you can run the seat heater here, whoops, and you can adjust temperature on either side there. Kind of cool, but these are a lot easier to use, so just use those. Then you got your defrost button here, another defrost and side mirror over here, and then that's about it. You got a volume control and you can tune it a little bit, and then if you push this and do it, it will jump through your presets. So pretty cool there, and sound customization. So that's what I meant to say, sound customization. So pretty cool there. Down here, you got a big storage cubby with rubber. This is where you can put your phone. Here's your 12-volt outlet right in there. And then you got this little weird earphone looking plug and a couple of USB-A's. These are slow charging units, but I believe they're both data. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Shifter. Standard H pattern, and then reverse is on the right. So you pull the ring and you can go into reverse like that. Pretty cool. Once you go into reverse, the backup camera automatically comes on and so forth. Then before you let off that clutch and thinking you're parked, or at least stopped, you got to do the wiggle. Wiggle is required before you let off that clutch. It's the law or something. And then of course, if you're parked and you turn the engine off, you put it into gear. But anyway, there's the shifter. Beautiful, beautiful throw on it. So first gear there, second gear there, third gear up there. Just so smooth and very positive. The clutch is also very positive. Always lets you know where it is, so you can tell the difference between when you're pushing against the spring and when you're actually disengaging the clutch. It's a beautiful, beautiful system. Handbrake, because sports car got to have a handbrake, otherwise it's not a sports car. Over here you got a couple of drink holders, a little spot to just throw random things. It's hard plastic, not rubber, so you know things will go out of it if they're too big. These are kind of cool and more secure than they look. I like these drink holders a lot. Then you have a little storage cubby back here. It has a 12 volt in it, and it's a decent enough size for a few things. Seating in this is beauty. This kind of suede stuff is awesome. And these bolsters are wonderfully done. Nice, good bolsters. They really do a good job of it. You can see the stitching on there. You can see the red detail stitching here. Just wonderful setup. Now, looking at the dash, you can see kind of the design they're going for. This is very similar to what you see in the new Outback, the current generation. It's similar to this. It's not the same. It's just similar. Soft plastic up here, soft kind of leatherette right here, hard plastic here, but it's in that cool kind of a bronze look. It's not black really. It has kind of a purple going on underneath that. So it's better than just piano black by itself. And then down here, this is hard plastic, but you don't really notice it because it curves away. And then the door details, just wonderfully done. I really like that. Now, looking in the back seats, I hit my head at 6'3" sitting back there, so I will tap my head on the top of it. But it's a good back seat, and yeah. Nicely done for a car this size. The trunk, good sized trunk. That's all I can say about that. It's a good sized trunk. I fit a lot of stuff in there. That's all three of my kids' full-sized TSA bow cases for archery will fit in that trunk together. So that's a good indication of its size, I think. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I've covered it. Pretty good job on this. I really like this new engine and transmission setup. It's more of the same without being more of the same. So it's familiar, but better. That's the best way to put it. So that's it. That's all I got. This has been Aaron, and this is the 2022 Subaru WRX. I almost said BRZ. Anyway, 2022 Subaru WRX. That's it. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.